Okay, so I decided to do this video because, um, well, at one point I started a YouTube channel and I was talking about love in broken pieces and basically, just saying that even when you feel broken, there's still love there, right? And the love that's there is the love that you have for yourself or that you should have for yourself. So I never continued that journey, and until now I feel a need that this is something I'm supposed to do. I feel like I was always supposed to do it, and I had a huge issue with consistency and discipline around making my videos, but I feel like it's really important now, even more so because you know, uh, life has really changed a lot for me, and uh, I feel like I have a story that other people can relate to, or if there's something I can help, someone grow through, then I really would love to um, be that source. Um, so why today? Why now? So it just interesting enough. Someone asked me, my thoughts on modern dating, and it was highly interesting because for me, I literally just got out of a 12-year relationship, married for 6, and yeah, it was a journey. And now being out in the world, I feel extremely vulnerable. But at the same time, I feel like I am well equipped with a lot of things. Like, I invested a lot in books, especially self-help, health and care books, wellness, mental, emotional, doing a lot of study on emotional intelligence. And with all of that, you would think, hey, well, if you're doing so much of that, then how is it that a 12-year relationship ended? Uh, Really, I feel like it was a situation where, when two good people are just growing in different directions, and not saying that one person was better than the other or outgrowing the other or anything like that. We were just literally just growing in different directions. And so, like, even with that, it's not any like issues centered around, us parting ways, especially because we have children together. And with that, it's like, okay, um, we are working together to have the best, relationship we can on behalf of the children because they're innocent in the situation. So, you know, um, and I think it just kind of helped us both kind of go through our healing too, just knowing that we're not at odds with each other and we could be cordial through the process. So I really have a lot of respect for my ex-husband in that sense of things, is because like he could be a butthole and treat me like shit and vice versa, but instead we choose to hire route, just accepting things for what it is and doing the best that we can to just move forward without causing any further damage. And just the fact that, I mean, he knows that, I'm a really great mom. He knows how hard I go for my children. And, you know, um, he knew that I wouldn't handicap him. And by handicap, I mean, like, putting him on child support because we parted ways or we just didn't work out. I could never, to be honest, even before him, that just wasn't something that was of me. And it could just go back as far as the fact that my father was not in my life, and how important I believe the role of a father plays in a child's life, that I would never want to take that away from my children. No matter how I feel or what I'm going through, whatever, they're the innocent ones in it. And so even in my first marriage, it was the same thing. Like, I wanted to make sure that, he was able to sustain himself. Because to me, if he was doing good, then our boys would do good. So even when I was young, because I was married at 19, right before I had my first son, I was so young, literally just, kind of just graduated high school, and I was afraid, and I was afraid of being judged, and I got married. Wasn't the best decision, but hey, we all live and learn, right? My second marriage, however, though, that was definitely intended. I feel like there definitely was some love behind the intent of us deciding to get married. The issue that we ran into is that we just didn't know how to. We didn't have examples. We didn't have a manual on how it worked. We solely just did what we thought we were supposed to do. And I think that that's why it made it so easy to not hate each other through us parting ways, is because we know that we tried, and we know that we gave it all that we could with what we had at the time. But now, just knowing that, the way of the world now, in the mindsets of a lot of people, is fairly interesting. One thing I can say for sure is, like, getting back out, I realize I'm extremely vulnerable because I really don't know a lot. I was very isolated from the world throughout the years. I literally went to work, handled home after work, and did the best I could as far as wifely duties and all of that. I feel like I lived in a lot of titles, and I never had the opportunity to learn who I was throughout the whole, out of all these years, really. I think I've always fought to try to figure that out, and I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons why I felt the need to walk away from my marriage, is because I didn't know who I was, but I knew that I didn't like who I was becoming. Just angry all the time, very insecure, just depressed, stressed out. And I could never blame it, on my ex-husband. I hold myself accountable for a lot of things. I take ownership in my role in a lot of things, because honestly, to be all the way 100, just taking ownership of my role and what happened and stuff, it actually kind of helped me through my healing process. But again, just coming out in this world and being extremely vulnerable because you don't know what's been going on, really, has been my biggest challenge. It's extremely scary. I remember, I haven't even been on any social media sites, really. Just a professional site that I've been on. But that's different, social media like Facebook. Going on there, I remember I logged on and I immediately logged off, because two of the first things that I saw was a guy talking about how terrible women are, and women are beginning to act a lot like men. And he was just basically expressing his disappointment in women. And then the second post I ended up seeing, it was a woman sharing a situation where I guess supposedly, I don't know if it was really her or just, but the post basically was stating that someone's ex, some guy that she talked to or someone talked to, their ex-wife is now the side chick. And I was like, okay, this is very heavy. Wow, we're there now, right? And the fact that I guess they're saying that a lot of women are okay with being side chicks, like that's the it thing now. It's like being a side chick. I honestly, I mean, like, I understand like situations happen to where, you may not know someone is in a relationship because people are really good at hiding things, but when I'm not quite sure how someone could be comfortable with that. But then, also hearing Will, you know, I just feel like people are afraid of commitments just based off of just constantly being hurt from past relationships or even from their childhood. So the safest place is knowing you're a side chick and being okay with that and still getting, I guess, the perks of being the actual significant other of the person. I don't know, but that's the only thing I could really think of is like the fear, of being hurt and instead just wanting to be in control to where you're accepting less, as if you don't deserve more. And that saddens me because I truly believe that there's someone for everyone for whatever reason. I just always felt like that. I just always used to be like, dang, if this person is a good person and that person is a good person, why can't they just be together, But who knows? And then I realized we definitely attract who we are at the time when we meet someone. So ideally, if you are broken, or, I don't even like to use the word broken, but if you are suffering, from some form of trauma, a lot of times you end up with someone who's also dealing with some form of trauma and you're trauma bonding, which could be a very unhealthy thing. And trying to fix each other can definitely cause a lot of issues because, well, one, the only person responsible for your healing is yourself. And you cannot depend on someone else to do the work for you, not even love you, like, I believe that someone could only love you to the extent in which they love themselves. And sometimes people don't even have that much love, and some will try to pour more into someone else's cup than what they even have for themselves, and then they find themselves unhappy. So really, it just almost seemed like a catch-22 in a lot of situations, But I think the reality is, as I just said a little bit ago, because we meet people where we're at, I think we're at a time in which we need to be okay with being alone, like me now, I must say, after 12 years and knowing that my protector is not here, it's scary. Or just sometimes just wanting to run back because of comfort. But knowing where I was and who I was at that time, I know that I don't want to be that person. So that's like my strength in continuing. But I think involving myself in things that are healthy for me. I purchased a lot of books. My library is growing extensively, and I get a lot of really great books from people who also share their stories. Because I feel like we can relate, to a lot of people who've been through what you're growing through at the time, and sometimes it just helps to kind of just hear about how they do things or how they went about things. And for me, on my journey now, I'm choosing to do things to, counterattack the traumas that I've dealt with over time. Some of the ones that I identified, that recently identified really, that's been traveling with me since day one, is definitely rejection and abandonment. And I'm a huge advocate on therapy. So I've always seen a therapist, for the last couple of years. And prior to the last couple of years, it's kind of been on and off, but I'm such an advocate for therapy. I feel like whether you feel like you need it or not, everyone needs someone to talk to or someone to just listen to them, and help them, just make rational decisions in moments in which we do feel vulnerable, and, and we're in our feelings, and we know that feelings could be misleading and misguiding. They're not facts. And we have to be mindful of that. So just kind of moving and surrounding yourself with people who you aspire to be like. Not necessarily, I guess, be like them, but you just kind of aspire, like, you're inspired by the lifestyle that they live. Like, for me, because I know that I am somebody's wife. I'm sorry. Like, I truly believe even after 2 failed marriages, like, I'm still supposed to be married. The best part is, like, I started surrounding myself around women who are married, and who can educate me, who can be 100 about how marriages really go, because sometimes we think it's just sunny skies and rainbows, but really, from what I've been hearing is like, when it comes to marriage, like, it's a struggle, and you have to be willing, both people have to be willing to communicate and learn how to compromise and pick your battles. A lot of things I didn't know when I was married, and but now, again, I'm surrounding myself around individuals that I aspire their lifestyle. Like, I aspire to be married. So I surround myself around married women. I aspire to be the best version of myself. So I surround myself around very intelligent people. Like, I know that I don't want to be in a room where I feel like I'm the smartest person, because not saying that or belittling anyone, but really my objective in life is to keep evolving and keep growing. And the only way I could do that is to surround myself with people who are my teachers, like, I am a forever student, and I feel like I can also teach as well. But, like, I want to be the best version of myself, and through that, I know that I will attract someone who is on that same journey, someone that's done some introspecting just as I have, and have the same idea in mind. And I'm gonna be honest, where I'm at right now, I have 4 children, so I would prefer to find someone, to attract someone who has children already. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a blended family and, those things. I'm just hoping that they also have a good relationship with their children's mother, as well, because I feel like all in all, that's where we will all win, you know. I feel like it'll save a lot of issues, because again, the children, they are the most important when it comes to anything, you know, the relationship with their parents, and what they see, you know, like weird examples. You know, I do not want my children to think that there are no good people in the world, or because they see their father in really bad relationship or their mother in a bad relationship, that there's just no hope. And one of the things that I have learned and I have shared with my children is when you meet someone, get to know, excuse me, their relationship they have with their parents. Like, what does that relationship look like? You know, like, do they have loving and caring parents? You know, do they have a strange relationship with their parents? Because the thing is, the relationship that individual have with their parent will tell you a lot about who they are and their mindset and how they view life. Because if they have a strange relationship with their parents, there's some trauma there. There's something that they need to heal from. It's something that they're dealing with. And when they lash out and project the negative things onto you, it almost feels as if you're the problem. When in return, it's really has nothing to do with you and every bit to do with who they are and how they feel inside based on the relationship or lack thereof with their parent, versus someone who has amazing parents and have an amazing relationship with their parents. You know, more than likely they probably had a really good upbringing, had some great guidance, and their view on relationships is probably really healthy because they seen what it was like. Even in moments in which it wasn't perfect, they probably was able to see how to overcome hardship in a marriage to where you don't have to end your marriage and you could work through it, you know. So all those things matter, you know, when it comes to the relationships. And I feel like with the modern day dating, unfortunately, people are not giving themselves enough time to really go and analyze what actually took place and why they're now back on the scene, in hopes to approach a new situation with more insight on how they have changed and overcome whatever it is they were dealing with throughout the past relationships to make the new one work. It takes both people, but again, when you worked enough on yourself, you're gonna attract that same energy. I truly believe energies attract. People trauma bond, you know, or power bond, you know, like we really do, you know, attract where we are and who we are at the time we meet someone. So, with that being in mind, hopefully, you know, people would, instead of lashing out and blaming other people for why things are the way that they are, they start to really look at themselves and figure out what it is about them that keep attracting the type of individuals that they seem to not enjoy being with. And with that, start creating healthy habits, and get out that poor pattern of behavior that is continuously bringing the same type of people around that they don't want to be with, and change and adjust to become the best version of themselves so that they too can have that individual they do feel that could be there forever. And with that said, that's my mission, that's my goal, that's what I'm on. with 10 toes down, like I'm still good, you know, like I have no hatred in my heart. You know, I feel light and free for the first time in a very long time. But I am on a journey, and when I get to the point where I feel like I'm at my best, where my love is overflowing for myself out my own cup, I will more than happily welcome someone else in, you know, to help overflow my cup some more, and vice versa, you know. So hopefully we could continue these chats, this journey, and see where we end, right? See ya.